I've always had a passion to communicate the gospel message in a way that both Christians and non-Christians can relate to.
These questions, man. Okay, what if I told you that I was this secret agent working for this special covert ops unit?
The best way to couch it with so many stories written about King Solomon in the past would be to develop a story relating to one of the mysteries that King Solomon might have come up with. Quite a lot of the story that I developed for the film is based on fact. The caves at Qumran do exist, and there are several scrolls that have been discovered in the caves at Qumran that refer to items of treasure that are hidden around Israel. There is a scroll from the caves that talks about plans for the building of a new temple, and of course the Dead Sea Scrolls were found in those same caves. So it just gave us the opportunity, especially because when you study in history, you find that nobody's really sure if all the scrolls in those caves were ever actually discovered or whether some were stolen. Nobody really knows. So it gave me a gap in history that we could borrow from and develop a story. Well, the gospel message has different elements, and in writing the script for this movie, we wanted to try and communicate different elements of the gospel, especially as they relate to spiritual realities. One of the things Pastor Chris has always taught us is that the realm of the spirit is much more real than the natural realm. But for a lot of Christians, it may be hard for them to visualize that because from birth they've been trained to just look at things that they see naturally. And so I wanted to find a way through a story to portray for a viewer certain spiritual realities that the Bible talks about. And that's why with three of our protagonists in the movie, they each had a different element of the gospel message woven into their story. So you had Eze, who was facing a challenge with an opponent who was using fiery darts, like the Bible tells about. And then you had Daniel, who was facing a challenge with his past. And then, of course, you had the character of Anka, who, in her Christian walk, was used to communicating with certain kinds of language, certain words that, from a Christian perspective, are not the best form of communication to use.
I can't wait to get home to my family. I'm a little bit worried about Valentin and Anna.
Why do you always start discussions about your family with "I'm worried" all the time?
I know, but you'll understand. We'll get married. You'll see.
Regardless,
You'll see.
listen, regardless, faith and worry, they don't mix. Once you worry, you're basically saying you don't trust God to take care of your affairs.
Yeah, I know. You're basically right. And I'm working on my worries, I promise you. I'm working on it.
Please do it.
So for the audience, I wanted them to be able to identify with a challenge based on fear. So you had Anka had to challenge or had to confront an adversary based on her fears. And then you find that Eze had to come to that point in his life where he looked more at the unseen than the seen. And then you found that in Daniel's case, the antagonist that he faced really focused on pulling Daniel back into his past, which is something that Satan does often.
I never played in a drama or anything like that. I had no experience at all. And I always thought for me personally, it's childish to be just standing there, play a different person than who you really are. So it was another difficulty for me. But then coming to rehearse and getting all the help I got we managed to play my part.
I don't think I had much acting experience. Maybe learning to sing on stage, you get to act a certain way. But apart from that, no.
Not much in terms of movies at all, but because I'm involved in the drama department in the church here, so there was a bit of acting experience.
I didn't have acting experience. I didn't act in a movie or something.
Well, I had no acting experience at all.
In a movie, it's different. You need to be realistic. You need to be like you'd be in real life. So it's a bit of a different experience. And to bring all those emotions across with the subtlety that comes with them as well, you know, it can be challenging. But thank God, I think we came through fine watching the movie at the end.
I see you do not yet understand. He needs motivation. Motivate him.
We went into these woods. There is no light at all. There is no car. There is not a person there. We thought we we got a wrong street, a wrong address. We didn't know nothing, and we had 2 flat tires. It seemed like nobody wanted to talk about it, but I will do. So we stopped in the middle of the woods. There was completely darkness, no light at all. My wife was there in the car. The driver came out of the car, and Brother Izzy, my wife told me, go out and help them. But I said, I'm not gonna come out because there were those little flies, like midges, like they were like little vampires. They will just land on you millions. You can't even. There were so many. But later on, I came out and we had to fight not only the natural elements, darkness and animals and everything. Anytime you can expect any animal to come out of the woods, and we managed to escape the situation. And after we came back, we looked back and we really had a good time, a good laugh.
On entering the cave, it was dark from start. It was dark. I think you couldn't even see anything that is below 50 centimeters ahead of you. It was very dark and very cold. It was almost like being in a different world. And being in that dark place is not close to hell, but it's give you a glimpse of being in a place where there's no God. You don't want to be there. You want to make sure that you are safe. You're born again.
In writing the script for this movie, it wasn't just a case of acting. Because in a film, you've got to have the message of the movie, and then you've got to have an environment that helps to sell the story. And so in writing the script, we had to make sure that we could find the right locations to help us portray the message of the movie. For example, towards the end, which is a place many people refer to, we had these strange-looking caves. The caves were to help communicate the sinister aspect of the four main antagonists, I would call them in the movie. And then, of course, we wanted to also portray a region that could symbolize an area where the steel could have been concealed. And of course, we didn't just want a nice tree-lined avenue. It had to be a place that looked wild enough. So we wrote the script and then looked for a location that would match the script. And of course, finding the location was, or finding the locations was an interesting task. And apart from that, of course, we're experimenting with things we'd never done before. both from a technical aspect, from a filming aspect. So fortunately, we had a very good DOP who could help with that. So he was able to translate the elements, the design elements of the script into something that the viewer would be able to relate to. And then, of course, we had a very good technical team, and we had some very, very good actors. We had to face some interesting experiences getting to some of the locations where we did the shooting. And several times we were out to very odd hours of the night filming, but everybody pulled together as a team, and that helped. The other issue and the other challenge, I would say, is the fact that all of the actors in the movie are brethren who have their own jobs, families, and so on and so forth to look after. And they each had to take time away from their jobs, their academics, their families to film this movie. And that in itself was quite demanding. And it's extraordinary that everybody pulled together and could see and identify with the vision of the movie. We worked together and we produced it.
It's been hidden by the sands of time for 3,000 years. Men have fought and died for it. A scroll discovered by the Dead Sea, an ancient riddle, and a professor of archaeology hold the keys to a treasure beyond imagination. The servants of darkness will stop at nothing to get it. To solve the riddle and discover the treasure, the Alpha team would have to travel to the ends of the earth. Face dangers beyond anything they have ever seen. Overcome incredible challenges and have their faith tested to the limit as they attempt to unravel a mystery written by the wisest king that ever lived.
You don't understand. The people I work for, they are no mortal men.
No weapon fashioned against you shall prosper.
I will find you wherever you go.